This is Hillsborough, the ground at which our first match took place. And those looking for trouble were disappointed. The fans saw a fine match in peace. And later we should join the biggest crowd of the day at Old Trafford to see Manchester United against Ipswich. But our first match is one with Yorkshire pride at stake between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United.
The future of Ipswich skipper Mick Mills remains one of today's main topics, together with Bobby Robson's first England squad. And there's a surprise delay over that announcement.
Well, it's 12 years since Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United met in the league, and so much has changed for them and others in that time. But yesterday their thoughts were not of the past, but of regaining First Division status. Leeds at the first attempt, Wednesday after 12 years. Your commentator is Barry Davis.
19-year-old John Pearson is entitled to the happiest smile in Wednesday's sunny start to the season. 3 goals a game has been their record, and Pearson's total of 5 of the 9 makes him the top scorer in league football. Wednesday's Saturday team shows 1 change from Tuesday's. Melvin Sterland returns after injury. And among the 12 names, the 2 new signings, Mike Lyons, after 14 years, boy and man at Everton, and he's now the captain here, and Ian Bailey, whose early career was fashioned by Jack Charlton at Middlesbrough. Leeds United stick with the side which gained their first win of the season at Leicester in midweek, where Aidan Butterworth scored the goal. No new faces, but 1 or 2 players being given a chance to claim regular positions by the new boss, Eddie Gray. And he's the first man to continue playing while in that managerial role, and I'm sure that his opposite number, who holds the Leeds record for number of appearances, would be happy if he could do the same. This really is a lovely setting for a football ground, particularly on a delightful sunny afternoon like this, with most of the crowd in shirt sleeves, indeed if they're wearing shirts at all. And a fine atmosphere for a local derby that we haven't seen for a few years now. Sheffield Wednesday attacking the goal to our right, and they are the team in the striped shirts. Maxson. Heard. Frank Gray. Eddie Gray, well taken. He's got Graham to his left. It's a question of the timing of the pass. That's Graham. Corner. Not sure whether Graham really made up his mind whether he was going to shoot or play it into the middle. A nice break by Leeds United. Worthington coming away from the near post, and Bowler makes a good save. Frank Gray playing it the way he was facing, straight back to his goalkeeper. He returns the compliment. In behind Lyons to Butterworth, to Graham. Challenge came in from Sterland, and again I'm trying to read his mind a bit, but I think he thought about the left foot shot and decided that that wasn't quite on, and went for a right that in the end wasn't quite there. Famous face in the crowd, that of John Charles. He went to play on the continent in Italy when superstars were superstars. Mistake by Sterland, the ball really wasn't quite in playing distance for him. Head. Thomas. Dickinson. Maxson. Thomas. Dickinson gives it to the boss. Butterworth held it nicely, playing well. Worthington, and that's the first of the derby. Really nice move by Leeds United. Frank Worthington scores his first of the season. But the move, in fact, started on the far side by Martin Dickinson, who fed it to Eddie Gray, who linked nicely with Butterworth, took the return well, and Worthington finished in a style that he would have enjoyed. So Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds United 1. Goal in the 28th minute. Shelton. Looking from side to side. Worthington. Another telegraphed the intention. Boos from Leeds supporters, but we haven't seen many negative passes in this half. Leaning on by Hart and Pearson. Bailey. Taylor. Bannister. Bailey. Couldn't strike it well. Comes down to Worthington, who takes advantage of the double error, really. First by Smith, the second by the skipper Lyons. Bob Boulder demands more from his side, but for the moment Worthington takes all the congratulations. Lovely control in the finish, but the goal as a result of Wednesday errors. Sheffield Wednesday, who started this match as one of only two sides in the country with a 100% record, find themselves two behind. Frank Gray. Taylor. Mirocevic. Bailey to the left. Four waiting in the middle. Taylor. That's the free kick, and a very silly challenge really by Graham. Massive striped shirted players have gone forward. All of them left of the two players on the ball. Lyons got up, and it came off the foot of the post. Absolutely packed crowd there, and two went up together, and I think it was Lyons who made contact, but certainly the ball came back off the foot of the post. Into the last minute of the first period. And Thomas looked for Butterworth. And Bob Boulder took it nicely on the chest, or perhaps a bit lower. Bit of a mistake by Hart. And Cherry covered it. to see a few seniors doing so well. Megson. Pearson. Queuing up Shelton. Eddie Gray. And there's an appeal for handball, which has been given. And a little bit of trouble involving Bannister and Lukic. I think for a moment Bannister felt that Lukic had lost possession of the ball, but Eddie Gray long since had his arm up for the appeal for handball. And he won his case. A free kick coming right on the end of 45 minutes. Just a bit of time to be added for one injury to Mirocevic. Pearson. Two for Worthington. Two for Leeds United. And nothing for Sheffield Wednesday. And it may just be that Jack Charlton is going to learn quite a lot about his young team during this second half. And sticking my neck out, I don't think they're out of this yet by any means. Well, the first half belonged to some of the game's seniors. Eddie Gray, the player-manager of Leeds United, Trevor Cherry and Frank Worthington, scorer of both goals. What have the youngsters of Sheffield Wednesday got to show in the second period? Certainly a test for one or two of them. Cherry again covering across the middle. Interesting permutation. Dickinson right, Cherry middle, and Dickinson left rather. Cherry middle and Hart to the right. And the wide men like Hurd here push forward. Butterworth, Hurd. Butterworth. Oh, and it got a slight deflection, I think. But anyway, it beat the goalkeeper on his near side. But the flag is up for offside. Well, there must be a debate here because the discussions in the close season have been about whether players are interfering with play. And indeed, the referee has given the goal. The smiles for Aidan Butterworth. The referee turns aside protest from Sheffield Wednesday. And I must say, all power to Mr. Seville, who went to talk to his linesman, but who clearly thought that with a shot like that, which may have taken a deflection, nobody, whether he was in an offside position or not, could possibly have been seeking to gain an advantage. And so the goal stands, and Sheffield Wednesday are 3 down, or put another way, Leeds are 3 up. Sheffield Wednesday have to do now is what they've done in every match before this one. Score 3 times. There's Shelton. We've got to recover the fizz of the opening. I mean, what was missing was the finish. Bailey. Mirocevic. Butterworth. His second goal in a week, that one was. Worthington. Just inside was Thomas, but the ball was not a good one. Cherry. A little too strong, I think. And in a way it was. Eddie Gray appealing for some habits at Leeds United that have never lost. 20 minutes left, and Sheffield Wednesday will need to offer a greater threat than that if they're to beat John Lukic. Frank Gray and Arthur Graham. Butterworth, good save. Good header too. Mirocevic is a man over. Bailey, number 3. McCulloch near post. Pearson far. Shelton. Pearson. Must be surely this time. Vanished to the scorer. Nice move. So the top scorer of last season for Sheffield Wednesday at last gives them something to bite on in an afternoon when things seem to have gone wrong for them. Nice move, header from Pearson and Bannister. Well, to say he had to score is always dangerous in football, but he'd have kicked himself if he hadn't. 1-3. Halting proceedings as the player manager is about to retire for the afternoon. Few instructions before he does so, but he's to be replaced by Terry Connor. And I think Eddie Gray has handed the left-back spot to his brother. And Connor moving to a left-sided midfield role. Well, he's had a good afternoon. Head. Thomas. Good tackle. Mark Smith who made it, but it's produced a corner. Arthur Graham coming across. Just Butterworth in the 6-yard box. Ed has come over for a short one. Worthington being watched by Lyons on the far angle of the 6-yard area. Graham. Another corner. Worthington. Bannister. Strength coming from midfield. Didn't count for too much. Graham offside. And I think he may well be booked for that. More frustration than anything else. But I think Mr. Seville will feel that's another attempt to waste time, which may be a little bit hard on Graham. But he's suffered individually for a collective attitude. Lyons is up there. And there was a clear elbow. Cherry was on the receiving end of it. And Lyons just runs back. I think the referee had any doubt who had committed the foul. Connor. Oh, it's an amazing run. It's brought to a rather abrupt end. And the trip produces a name for Mr. Seville. And the name is Melvin Sterland. And the Leeds crowd, with 4 minutes to go, are prepared to claim that they've won. Not too many would dispute the fact now. Thomas. Bannister. McCulloch. That's a foul. Question of timing. Shelton. Nice first touch by Bannister. Solid shoulder by Connor. Sterland. Plenty of troops forward. Lyons. And turned in by Megson. 3-2 with a little over 2 minutes left. Is there sufficient time? There were so many players forward then. Lyons won it in the air, and Megson was the quickest to seize it on the deck. And for the first time since he went to sit on the bench, there is a reason for Eddie Gray to follow the style of biting the nails a bit. Butterworth, obstructed by Bailey. Sheffield Wednesday may place the ball for Leeds, but Trevor Cherry will put it on the blade of grass that he wants it to be on. And it's a question of what Mr. Seville has on his watch. What extra time he's prepared to allow to be more accurate about it. It'll be a long one now. The stripes go forward. McCulloch underneath it, got a little bit of a push. Come for it, says Dickinson. Lukic obliges. Knock it long, says Lukic. Gray tries but fails. Worthington. One look at the watch. Leeds United have the victory. Sheffield Wednesday's record disappears. But what a thoroughly entertaining match, which ends with the player-manager going away with the spoils. 2 of the goals scored for his team by Frank Worthington, the other by Aidan Butterworth, with Bannister and right at the end Megson scoring for Sheffield Wednesday.
Well, a fine game, no crowd trouble, and particularly pleasing for Leeds United. Player-manager Eddie Gray inspired the win before coming off with a sore back, but was fit enough afterwards to discuss the match with Barry Davis, who spoke first to Eddie's old Leeds colleague Jackie Charlton.
As a manager, do you learn more from a defeat like that than maybe from 3 consecutive wins?
Yeah, I think so. I think it means you've got to be able to prepare your players so that when something happens on the field, they can change it. When they can recognise where they're going wrong and where they're not, we're making it work. And I think if I had to start again, I would start with the 2 big lads up front and I would put Bano on the wing.
Maybe you should be a player manager like Eddie.
No, you know, Eddie amazed me on one of his runs. He had a tremendous run. Terrific. I had to laugh at it when he was doing it, even though we were getting beat 3-0 at the time. Yeah.
The fact that you push men into midfield, does that suggest that the new manager of Leeds United wants to see Leeds attacking?
No, the reason we push men into midfield today, as I say, because Wednesday are strong in the middle of the park.
All right, let me rephrase it. Does the manager of Leeds United want to see Leeds United attacking?
I want to see Leeds United winning, and if it means us attacking, we're going out to try and win every game we play. I think we should have won all the games we played in. I mean, Wednesday started well, but we started quite well. We had a difficult start.
But where does entertainment come on your priorities?
I thought it was quite entertaining today, and it was a good match. There was plenty of goals scored. Both teams would probably say they were a wee bit slack at the back. Certainly we were, I thought, when we were 3 up. I thought we should have tied the game up there and kept control of the game, because the game was finished then, from our point of view. But we were still trying to get forward all the time, and I don't think you can do it all the time.
But is that a policy you would like to follow, Eddie?
If we can score goals and win games, I'll be happy.
Well, the 5 goals at Hillsborough yesterday have helped towards the new season's increased scoring rate. And it's lovely to report that there have been 42 more goals in the Football League already this season compared with a year ago, and from 3 fewer matches. The First Division, which sets the standards, shows an increase of almost 20%, while the biggest plus is 30 in the third. One man with a particular need for goals is Bobby Robson, the new England manager, who will name his first selection at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning and not tomorrow as expected. Bobby told me today that the players he would like for England's opening European Championship match in Denmark and 2 under-21 games will be informed tomorrow, and that gives the clubs 24 hours to confirm their fitness. Remember, he's already lost Glenn Hoddle of Spurs and Joe Corrigan of Manchester City. More news coming up later, but now look at the goals from one of yesterday's top games in Scotland's Premier Division, the one at Love Street between St Mirren and champions Celtic.
Steve Clark giving the support and does well with the Craney close to him. Well, it's a brilliant goal by Richardson. 12 minutes of the game gone, 1-0. Game flagging slightly. Tommy Burns coaxing the player forward, can't find a gap. So many players here, everybody is back, bar McDougall. Oh, great turn by Nicholas, penalty kick. Penalty this time, the tackle from the back. So here we go. There it is. The equaliser. Nicholas brings it down. Gently forward there. Craney. Oh, I think he goes to the line and he went too far. Appeals for penalty kick. And it's given. That's it. So the wage packet is increased as Charlie Nicholas for Celtic puts them 2-1 in front, much to the delight, not surprisingly, of the huge support.
Well, now to Old Trafford to see Manchester United and Ipswich, teams who, barring accidents, would expect to be challenging for the major honours this season. United have started impressively, but Ipswich have uncharacteristically been letting points slip away from them. Your commentator, John Motson.
For the last 10 seasons, Manchester United have had the highest average home attendance in the Football League. And one of the reasons is matches like this, when there are no fewer than 18 full internationals among the 20 outfield players. One of them is Dutchman Arnold Muren, who passed a fitness test on a troublesome Achilles tendon before lining up against the club he left in the summer. And in his last 2 years at Ipswich, Muren missed only 1 league game. That sort of consistency is important in a Manchester United team so far unchanged this season. But just listen to the names currently out of the side. Gidman, Buchan, Moses, Grimes, Bodak, McGarvey, new signing Peter Beardsley, and today's substitute Lou Macari. Ipswich, having lost the lead in all 4 matches so far, are unchanged. George Burley plays despite a sore heel, and his fullback partner Mick Mills plays his 732nd senior match for the club, with his future still in the balance. His planned Friday night meeting with Manchester City did not materialise. Teammates last season, rivals this season. Arnold Muren and Frans Thijssen, the 2 Dutch internationals. The referee this afternoon, Alan Saunders from Newcastle upon Tyne. Players have been saying the grass this season on the pitch at Old Trafford is rather long, but it's certainly a lovely setting, as Ipswich, who did the double over Manchester United last season, playing in the white shirts, coming now from the right. Teams finished second and third in the table last season. Here's Alan Brazil. Got the ball in there, and nearly a touch from Mariner. Gordon McQueen cleared with difficulty, and Moran conceded the corner. Ipswich's winning goal in this fixture last season came from a corner this end of the field when John Walk came in and scored with a header. Butcher's on the near post, and so is Mariner. And Mariner getting a flick on there. McQueen is up. Tyson with the header back. And the ball out, finding Ray Wilkins. It was Stapleton that volleyed clear. Moran. Stapleton. Norman Whiteside playing up front with Stapleton, wearing number 10. Here's Wilkins. Here's Whiteside. Tackled by Osman. Wilkins. Coming up on the left is Arthur Albiston. And Mick Mills. And they got Whiteside. Steve McCall got caught. And Norman Whiteside, 17 years old, just shows how quickly he's developing now at Old Trafford after the World Cup with Northern Ireland. Ipswich in a tangle. Mick Mills' clearance came to the feet of Steve McCall. He didn't get the ball away, and Whiteside, in one swift movement, put it in the back of the net. That's his 4th goal in league football, and his 3rd this season. (1-0) to Manchester United. There's Duxbury. Well, prior to today, Ipswich had scored first in all their league matches. Now they find themselves a goal behind. To Norman Whiteside. Tyson. And Steve Coppell. There's John Walk. Ron Atkinson, the Manchester United manager. Well, the eagerness of the Manchester United forwards to push up on these Ipswich defenders. Wins them the ball. Stapleton. And Whiteside coming in with Butcher. Albiston. Mills stretching only as far as Muren. Through the legs of Eric Gates. Wide again to Stapleton. United moving well. Whiteside. Muren. Duxbury wanting it. Number 2. Wilkins. Coppell. And even then Ipswich unable to clear. Coppell again. Duxbury. Wilkins. Duxbury. What good play. Muren. Drive blocked by Butcher. Moran. And still United press. Albiston to Muren. Coppell having to check out to collect that. And off Mills for the corner. It's been taken short. Muren. And Moran is arriving at the far post, and there was some pushing, I think. Good header by Moran, that. Here's Muren. Stapleton pulling to the left, taking Osman with him, finding Orbison in support. Here comes Robson, and McCall in a bit of trouble, was he? Well, he was, for the second time. That ball played into the near post, finding Ipswich in a tangle. McCall couldn't get rid of it, and Robson was looking for number 2 for United. Moran and Gates. Walk running strongly through the inside right channel, leaving room outside him for Burley. Away by Duxbury as far as Mills. Now Tyson. Gates. Brazil is chasing it on his left side, but the angle never good enough, really. Harriet Gates supplying the pass. Wilkins in possession, a tremendous lot early in the match. Whiteside shaking them off. Oh, and finding Stapleton, who went for the little chip as Cooper advanced. What a good piece of build-up play by Norman Whiteside. And that's the tandem that Manchester United are looking to this season. They wanted to find the right partner for Stapleton. Gary Birtles wasn't the answer. He's gone back to Nottingham Forest. But 17-year-old Norman Whiteside might be the player they were looking for. Wilkins. Duxbury. Koppel. And Stapleton, what a good header. Oh, mistake between Mills and Butcher, but in the end Wilkins made one to help them out. And the through pass catches Mariner offside. A catalogue of offsides at that end of the field in the first half against Mariner and Brazil. 10 minutes left in the first half, still a 1-0 lead for Manchester United, and they've been good value for it up to now. McCall. Walk. And Burley returns it. Walk this time looks for Brazil. Burley. And Gates. Oh, McQueen, and put in by Mariner. Ipswich equalise. A messy goal from the Manchester United point of view, and Gordon McQueen may take some of the blame. Eric Gates got in on the near post. He cut the ball back well. McQueen appeared to have had a chance to clear, but Mariner didn't hang around and scored for the second successive Saturday. So Ipswich themselves now come from behind, having seen their opponents do it in every match before today. Paul Mariner, the scorer. Again, the close control of Whiteside. Very evident. Whiteside again. Robson, Stapleton, Koppel. All was going away, rather. And Burley on the far side, able to take his time. Wilkins again. So a busy first half, especially from the Manchester United point of view. Norman Whiteside scoring inside 2 minutes on a day when he's being watched by a lad who 19 years ago, made an impact here as a 17-year-old, George Best. Half-time, Manchester United 1, Ipswich Town 1. The Ipswich goal coming from Mariner. It's 15 years since Manchester United won the First Division Championship, and 14 years since they won the European Cup. They were made second favourites to Liverpool for the title this season, and they start their UEFA Cup campaign here against Valencia on Wednesday. They may feel that in the first half they should have made rather more of the possession they had. Stapleton getting it away from Walk to Robson. And Whiteside's up again. And so is Koppel. What a strong challenge by Mick Mills. He may have an uncertain future for the moment, but he's certainly playing well. Koppel, Stapleton and Osman just doing enough. Service coming in from Steve Koppel, who had a cartilage operation when he got home from the World Cup. You may remember he missed England's final game against Spain, and he had a longer rest than some of the Manchester United players because the operation delayed his return to full-time training. Muren taking it from Whiteside and returning it to him. And Whiteside hits the side netting. Applause rings round the ground. And certainly his performance is something which has caught the eye this afternoon. Again, good width from Ipswich, but can they penetrate this Manchester United defence? It's Burley. Walk and Mariner are up for that. And Stapleton just trying to get into the hole behind Mick Mills, as Wilkins takes it up now for United. Robson well forward. Well played to Stapleton. Might need help from behind. Duxbury. That was well played by Franz Tyson, and it could prove interesting here. Gates has got two to support him. Mariner. On this side, George Burley. Gates into Mariner. And still Mariner. Not a bad effort from a player who was born not very far from here, in the Bolton area, and played his early football at Chorley. The attendance this afternoon at Old Trafford, 43,140. Indeed, all three of Manchester United's home crowds so far have been over the 43,000 figure. And Burley offside surely against Mariner, whose goal certainly turned the course of events this afternoon at Old Trafford. Ipswich were under the hammer early in the match. They could well have gone more than one down, but scoring when they did, they put a different complexion on things. Now, can Manchester United do something about that? Here's Koppel, Robson, and Wilkins. Albiston, Wilkins. And the shot was deflected off John Walker. There's a bit of trouble there, and a goal! Steve Koppel. John Walk was very unlucky with the deflection because it really took the goalkeeper out the game. The shot came in, it came off Walk. Paul Cooper started to come. There was an argument between him and his defence afterwards, but Koppel got the touch. And after 28 minutes of the second half, Manchester United go 2-1 in front with Coppell's second goal of the season. And the goal coming at a very good time for a United side who seem to have lost their way. The crowd were getting restless up to that point also, but they're happy enough now, although Paul Cooper isn't. Brian Robson pushing well forward as Wilkins starts things off to Muren. It's a good ball by Muren to Augustin. And here's Wilkins, and Cooper began to come, and Wilkins chipped him, and Coppell comes in. And the goalkeeper came a little bit sooner there, I think, than anybody expected, and Wilkins tried to curl one round and over him. But certainly Wilkins, having set up the second goal for United, is having a good spell. And Ipswich, I think, can only change the game now by making a substitution. And the interesting thing is that the player coming off, Steve McCall, was, or is rather, Arnold Muren's successor in a sense on the left-hand side of midfield, but he's replaced today by a man who couldn't have come on in this situation last season because Mitch Davray, born in South Africa, wouldn't have been able to come on had Muren still been playing for Ipswich. You're limited to 2 overseas players in the Football League, and with Muren having gone, Davray can now join Tyson. Oof, it was a heavy challenge by McQueen. You could almost feel that up here. Free kick to Ipswich. Mills, square for Gates to hit one. Spectators now knowing that there are fewer than 5 minutes to go. And unless Manchester United lose their way, 3 points are in prospect here. Robson. Oh, I say there's a gap there, and Whiteside. What a fine finish. Brian Robson sets the goal up, and Norman Whiteside, challenged by Russell Osman, just got the chip in, and it dropped beyond Cooper into the net to make it a very happy afternoon indeed for the 17-year-old from Belfast. Well, I should think George Best in the stand must have admired the coolness of that. Fewer than 5 minutes to go, so I hope he hadn't left. Certainly the Stretford end saw it, and they're saluting Whiteside. And there he is, the old maestro, admiring a young player who the fans here are warming to. Offside against Mariner. But Ipswich now looking a well-beaten side, even though at 1-1 they looked capable for a few minutes of winning the match themselves. Manchester United have 4 wins out of 5 games. Ipswich Town are still looking for their first victory, but the day belonged to Norman Whiteside, scorer of the first goal and the third, so he gets 2 in a match for the first time in league football, but I'm sure it won't be the last. And his part too in the general build-up of Manchester United's attacks was there to be admired. And the crowd know that United, as of old, have produced another young player of rich promise, and today have produced a 3-1 win over an Ipswich side who faded once they went behind for the second time.
Well, no complaints about that game either. And in the skill spot, for which I hope you're also keeping your eyes open each week, not unnaturally, Norman Whiteside features prominently. Apart from the fact that Norman is from Northern Ireland and has played for United as a teenager, I see little reason to liken him to George Best, although if I had to compare him with a ghost of Old Trafford's past, I'd choose Dennis Law because of his sharpness in the box. But that's not what we look at first. We look at the way in which he deals with this ball from Arnold Muren, his capacity to turn and use both feet, leave Butcher stranded, also his strength, tough as old boots. They're both thrusting away with their arms, but he sees the opening and makes his first attempt to chip one into that corner of the net. But after two Ipswich mistakes, which we see here, his likeness to Dennis Law, for me, stood out prominently. Mick Mills tries a short ball, McCall tries to turn, Wilkins gets at him, but look how quickly he reacts to that loose ball and hammers it through the legs of the opponent into the corner of the net. Shades of Dennis Law there. This is Brian Robson on the ball, and he's hung nicely as Norman to make the space. One touch, all the awareness in the world, and he's floated that ball beautifully over Cooper's outstretched hands. Quite a prospect, sharp as a needle in the box. Now young Aidan Butterworth from Leeds United. First time really we've seen him on Match of the Day, I think, and what an impression he made. He lays that ball off there to Kevin Hurd. How he makes the game easy by coming to the right and making himself a simple target. Can't miss that pass, can you? And then once he's on the ball, he's seeking to steer it in Hurd's path and push him into the box. But defender recovers and he chooses not to do that. But once the ball comes out to him, that's the moment where he shows he's got courage and aggression, shapes himself up, has a whack, gets a little bit of luck off the posterior there of the Sheffield Wednesday player and holds out in the net. But I want you to look at this for another reason. How well the referee, Alan Seville, and his linesman worked out this situation. Frank Worthington at the top of the picture there had been flagged offside. But showing us perfectly how to interpret the new instruction, they discussed whether they thought he was interfering with play, and at the end of that period, having got it absolutely right, they brought a smile to Aidan Butterworth's face. Now, the old man of the day, if you'll forgive me, Frank Worthington. This is Eddie Gray on the ball now, and it's young Butterworth who actually lays the wall pass back to him there to give him the opportunity with his sweet left foot to ease the ball in to Worthington's path. Now look at that deft chip there. If a Brazilian had done it, we'd have been talking about it for a week. That was Frank Worthington, ex-England centre-forward. And of course he finished his afternoon by getting another goal, from a goal kick incidentally. Watch the way young Butterworth jumps high for this ball by not getting underneath it. Those few strides gave him the elevation he needed. Worthington wriggles his way through, but see how when the goalkeeper thinks he's got the ball, like a snake, he sticks out that left foot and gets it in the goal. And afterwards, he underlined for amateurs and pros the prime object of the game, enjoyment.
Yeah, I always enjoy the game, you know, and it's there to be enjoyed. Eddie, he says this to everyone at the club. He wants everybody to enjoy the game, you know. Obviously, it makes it that much better when you're winning games, but overall, you know, still enjoying it and keeping going.
Frank Worthington clearly happy and settled with his latest club, but the future of England's World Cup captain Mick Mills is still very uncertain. Available at a bargain fee of £50,000 because of his 17 years service at Ipswich and about to fly to Italy for Wednesday's UEFA Cup match against Roma, Mick is still pondering his next move.
Well, it's still a little bit up in the air, to be quite honest. It all started by the fact that Leicester City made an inquiry about me, and the door was open for me to talk to Leicester, which I did just out of interest. And I had a very interesting talk with Gordon Milne, and I'm still quite interested in maybe joining them. But what sort of happened in the meantime was that other clubs found out and showed some interest, although, you know, the other clubs haven't yet come to me. They've gone through Ipswich, and that's as far as it's got. So I'm really, just from my own interest, just waiting to see if anything develops from the other clubs. And then when I've talked to everybody, then I can make my mind up.
Well, Mix manager Bobby Ferguson said today that there have been no fresh developments and that the move to Leicester is still on, as the only other clubs to make an inquiry, Manchester City and Southampton, have made no firm offer. Ipswich are one of 15 British clubs involved in Europe this week and have no real injury problems, unlike Manchester United, who have a serious doubt about Arnold Mühren for Wednesday's UEFA Cup match at home to Valencia. Still in that competition, there could be a surprise return for Southampton striker Steve Moran, out of the game for 9 months with a serious back injury. He'll certainly be in the 16 for the home leg against Norrköping of Sweden. Meanwhile, manager Laurie McMenemy hopes to talk to Brian Clough tomorrow about a possible extension of the loan of Justin Fashanu, the Nottingham Forest forward. Arsenal's UEFA Cup tie against Spartak in Moscow is on Tuesday. They'll still be without Alan Sunderland, who has a foot injury, but young Stuart Robson will be in the party despite needing 5 stitches in the leg he injured in yesterday's first win of the season at Coventry. Manager Terry Neal also told us that he's hoping for clarification of the transfer of Vladimir Petrovic from Red Star Belgrade this week when the Yugoslav Federation meet to discuss the matter. In the European Cup, Liverpool, who visit Dundalk, will have Alan Hansen back for the first time since the Charity Shield, and they need him because Mark Lawrenson is under suspension. As for European Cup holders Aston Villa, well, they hope to be at full strength for the home leg against Besiktas of Turkey, providing right-back Mark Jones has recovered from a groin injury. By the way, you'll be able to see European football action in Sports Night when it returns for a new season on Wednesday at 10:20. Finally, the proposed transfer of Brighton's Mike Robinson to Sunderland in exchange for Stan Cummins plus cash is by no means sure to go through. Sunderland's Alan Durban will be talking to Brighton manager Mike Bailey tomorrow, but told me no deal is finalised and I'm really not sure I want Stan Cummins to go.
So here ends a happy week for football. Goals have replaced sendings off in the headlines, and that's a positive sign that attitudes within the game are changing. The crowds are still low, but if anything is going to bring them back again, it has to be the commitment from one and all to go forward and score. Good afternoon to you.
Butterworth held it nicely, playing well. Worthington! Really nice move by Leeds United. Comes down to Worthington. Butterworth. Oh, and it got a slight deflection, I think. Shelton. Pearson. Must be surely this time. Vanished to the scorer. Nice move. Plenty of troops forward. Lyons. And turned in by Megson.
And Mick Mills. And they got right side. And Gates. Oh, McQueen, and put in by Mariner. Wilkins. And the shot was deflected off John Walker. There's a bit of trouble there, and a goal. Robson. Oh, I say there's a gap there. And Whiteside. What a fine finish.